Welcome to the Moon God Pod. I'm your host, JwowLax, Jason Harrell. And today I have my name is Glitch on the show. And of course, my guy on the bottom, my right hand man, Lovox, as always. Big day. Glitch, welcome to the show. And I think it's a long time coming, but you were a guest like 18, I believe. So we've kind of gotten into our rhythm. We've gotten warmed up so that we would be ready for the guy that is the mod master.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I love you both. And thank you for having me on. I love what you both are doing.
You know, I gotta say, like, as far as your dedication to Aku and all things Aku world, it seems like you are everywhere. Like, if someone pings you or tags you, like, I think you're kind of like me. I sleep with my phone right by my head, for better or worse. Um, how time consuming is it? And is there just ever times where you're just like, what, this is a bit much?
I was actually talking to the mods about this actually this morning. Because I love being in the Discord. That's like it's not really work to me being with like family. Um, but at the same time I get sidetracked at times. So like yesterday, I got sidetracked talking to people online, and I actually like fell asleep like around midnight or so, and I had to be up early. So, but there's never a time that I'm like, okay, this is enough. I actually like it. I work well under pressure. Um, Going back to the chapter days, just
Yeah.
being there and going at it.
For those who may not know, you're arguably the biggest gift guy in the entire USA. What goes into the gift choice and the inserting your photo? Like, give the audience just a insight on how that works.
Well, I use the app Reface, and I just have fun with it. I think you could say a lot with GIFs without even saying that many words, and I just like having fun with it.
It's definitely worth joining the Discord just for those moments.
Yeah, Rusty has a collection.
I do think like it is funny how we kind of communicate now, like just like emojis, and just it's almost like we've our language has reverted back to hieroglyphics. Eventually we'll just communicate in emojis and gifs. I want to take us all the way back to you're very good about sharing the vibes, and like you've had different types of channels in the Discord, that have kind of given the platform, and you've kind of moderated on like what people's Aku story was, like good vibes types of stories. So what was your NFT journey specifically? Like, what was your first introduction to NFTs, and then how did you come across Micah?
Well, I came into the NFTs because I collect tangible art, and one of the artists, Greg Mike, um, came out with an NFT, and that's how I came into the space. And during that time, it was actually the same month as the Genesis dropped, but it was actually, I believe, a week after the Genesis dropped, so I missed chapter one initially. And then my best friend, the one that I call Twin, um, introduced me and was like, "You got to check this out. You got to check this artist. Look at this." And I fell in love. I mean, how can you not? It's basically this, astronaut boy, just walking down with confidence.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, you have Micah's artwork on both sides. Is like that was the introduction. That's what captured you. And I love the fact that, like I stated before, Aku has not said one word, but has said so much because each chapter has a special meaning and says so much throughout the chapters.
Did you know, like, as soon as you saw it, like right away, like this was something that you were going to dive into? Like I actually found it interesting that you didn't, like, you weren't there for like the first day of minting, which that's just a timing thing too. But how soon was it after you started collecting this project that you were like in the Discord, and that you became like a modder?
Well, I knew I wanted it. But at the time, I was so new to NFTs. I didn't know, should I get it? Should I not? But I definitely wanted it. And I came into the Discord as soon as Micah opened it because I wanted to follow along on the journey. I actually got chapter 2 before I got chapter 1.
Wow. And you were there every day after that.
Yeah, basically.
the the decision to be Moon God is not like it's not necessarily an easy one. I mean, in the beginning, first of all, I think that a lot of us thought that it was going to take years potentially to become a moon god. Like one chapter would come out every like 3 months or 4 months, and so it was this accumulation of years. But at the beginning, especially, at $1,000 a piece, that's $10,000, and that's no small investment. Was there, without knowing like it necessarily your position in, financially, but like that's still a lot of money. Were you just like, well, I got to figure something out, like I've got to become a moon god?
Well, when I want something, I go after it. Um, and at that time, I was like, okay, I got to pick up flights. Got to pick up more flights. But I knew this was something special ever since chapter 1. My twin introducing me to it, like it just felt right, and it's been like that ever since. I just love it.
So your ability to be a flight attendant has allowed you to meet in real life a lot of our community members. We've had a lot of moments where, with like certainly the NFT NYCs, Art Basel, but kind of touch on some of the unique moments that you've been afforded that otherwise, like being outside this community, and certainly with like your career, like you wouldn't be able to. And I'm thinking of one in particular, I believe in Colorado.
Oh yes, there's been many times, and I appreciate having it. Been doing it for going on 17 years. I celebrated 16. Um, but one thing in particular was amazing was Max, one of the members, was actually on my flight.
Oh wow.
And I was like, "Hey, you!" And at first, since we were wearing masks, he didn't notice, and then we just hugged each other. Um, but other than that, it's given me the ability to meet up with members. Most recently, I went to the Micah's gallery, where he showed Moonshot, and as soon as he stated he was doing Moonshot, I'm like, you know what? Let me try to get out there. And sure enough, it worked in my favor. One of my flight attendant friends, I reached out to them. I'm like, if you're gonna drop that trip, let me know.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's funny because I was actually gonna drop it. I'm like, I'll take it. So you could do two things at once. Why not? But it's also given me the opportunities of meeting with Sturpan in Denver, Colorado. Actually went to a Pusha T concert out there, and the same thing with Sental. Went to a Pusha T concert out in Rochester, I believe.
One of the recurring themes whenever I hear you speak is the mentioning of family and community. And when it comes to Aku and the things that you've seen in the Discord, what do those terms mean? If I'm somebody who's never seen Aku before and I hear the terms family and community, what exactly does that mean to you?
It's You know when you feel at home, that's how it feels like when I'm around you all. Like I'll bring it back to when we first met each other in NFT NYC in the restaurant. At first I was like, am I gonna go? I know these people online, but are they gonna be different? Back in AOL days, it was all a different thing, meeting up. But I just went with the flow, and I tell you, as soon as I sat down and people started coming in, it felt like family, and it's been that way ever since. Like people come up to me, "Hey, are you Glitch?" And I'm like, "Yes." They introduce themselves, and it's like hugs. It just feels right. It doesn't feel like a stranger.
Where was it before? Because I'm gonna every time exactly what you just said. Like I've been sober for almost 17 years, and for people that get sober through the 12-step programs, a lot of times they felt like they were kind of lost, and they use exactly what you just said, like they felt like they were at home. What it's like kind of, especially now. I don't I don't think Aku Discord is on the same level as a room full of alcoholics and addicts, but it's like the land of misfit toys.
Mm.
Is there a little sense of that? Like we all come from just so many different walks. Do you kind of almost feel like we're, like this chaos like was all driving us to the same common family?
Well, first and foremost, congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
But as far as um, how can I explain it? Because every time I speak about it, I'm at a loss of words because I really do love you guys so much. Um, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels right. Like no one knows whether the person is a male, female, um, whether they're what kind of religion. It's just you're speaking to an individual that shares the same vision and passion as you, and you don't realize it until you meet in person sometimes, unless we're on Zoom calls or anything like that. But it's at that very moment we're all one. We're someone behind the screen, just no judgment zone, and I think that's what people like. It's we're from all different walks of life, like literally.
What was going on in the world of Glitch before Aku? Because if like you've got a this huge chunk of a commitment now. So what was kind of replaced? Where like what was life like before Aku? What did you kind of have to sacrifice to kind of move forward with Aku and your time commitment?
I think this was made for me
Mm,
because both jobs are mobile. Like I'm constantly on the go.
mm.
So there's nothing that's really changed. It just, I just feel like I got a larger family. My I do have a large family in real life. My grandmother on my mother's side had 18 children. My mother's number 17.
Wow, that's putting in some work.
Yeah, so nothing has really changed other than getting on online more,
Mhm.
um, communicating. But the good thing is I'm able to do it both on laptop, desktop, mobile. So it's the perfect thing.
You you're kind of on the inside lines of Aku, and I would think that you can kind of interpret things that maybe like the general public uh is kind of missing with so many different verticals, so many big plans for 2023. What is it that you see for the new year that will kind of be, I don't like the domino falling type of thing, but which vertical do you think is going to kind of be something that's going to more so catch us by surprise? Like our coup cribs coming out was kind of like a surprise, and we're still very early, so we don't really know. Like I don't think the general Aku public knows exactly what that means. But what's something that you kind of see that you think 2023 is going to bring that's really going to kind of change the game?
Well, of course, Aku Cribs. If you're I spoke to JB, and we're looking towards opening up to, you know, Apple testers. As of right now is Windows, but if you become a tester, you'll see the vision come to life. It's something that's amazing. And hopefully it opens up to more people so they're able to see what we see. But I would have to say in 2023, just the team, like, man, the minds of, you know, Micah, Summer, it's, you know, RD. It's like everyone brings something to the table. And just when you think Micah has come up with something that is like, wow, he'll
Mm-hmm.
surprise you with something even more on top of that. And one thing, when I was offered the position, um, and the reason that I took it, not only because I love the community, is because Micah is for the community. Like, you know, when things got tough, I could tell you, like, and even the early days of chapters, we would talk on the phone, and the first thing would be, you know, what do you think the community would like about this? So seeing somebody that's so passionate about their craft and then passionate about the community on top of that, like, it's not, how can I say it? It's not an act. And that's one thing that I wish people would be able to see behind the scenes, is the work that this team puts in, and that they really care about this community.
So you're putting in a lot of work as a mod. Are there any other verticals or any other, are your fingerprints in any other aspect of building Aku right now?
Um, my focus right now is the community and how to build it. So more to come on 2023. You know, I give, I help out with stuff like if Kristen needs assistance with some, you know, something almost like um, Webster Hall in NFT NYC when we did the Monster Cat. Um, just giving, you know, like I have a voice. Like if I don't feel like something's right, they listen to what I have to say, and that's not something that you see very often, especially from like leadership. It's usually their way or no way, and that's not the case.
I I think Micah is an interesting guy. I'm blown away by the confidence, but I also think that he's, you know, it's almost like he's too. I don't know if humble's necessarily the right word. Sometimes, like it's like I kind of want to like nudge him and be like, "Hey, like you're freaking awesome. Like pound your chest a little bit." You know, as you're trying to build this community, um, what can be done as far as socially? Because I believe, like, you know, I think last year there was an announcement that we're partnering with like a top PR firm. You know, Micah said repeatedly he doesn't care about followers and things like that and numbers, but I care about it. Not, and it's not like as a cool thing. It's just as like it baffles me that he doesn't have, you know, a million followers. It baffles me the amount of attention and the things that we're doing. Time Magazine, Disney, Visa, um, you know, like like all these amazing things, and yet the social buzz, like it's kind of like we haven't. The only thing we went viral from was our black, the black eye. What what can be done? What do you see as being done? Or is it even not even like a priority?
Well, as he stated in 2023, it's about expansion and growth. But as Micah stated in I wish it was actually streamed. I'm not sure if it was, but in NFT now, when he was on stage, is he knows he doesn't have a lot of followers, and that's okay. Um, we're making 2 years this February, and we've done a lot in those 2 years. I think being in Web3, and seeing the way other projects have grown, we're so used to it growing quickly. But will that last? I think we have something, and this is my personal opinion. I think we have something that's growing organically, will grow, and will bring on more people. There will be people that, get off the ride. There will be people that continue, and there will be people that got off and get back on. But the movement will still keep going, and it's a vision, it's a movement, it's long term, and it's something that I believe in, and I believe many people believe in.
Are there other NFT projects that you're a holder of, or that you're kind of connected with?
Well, I early on I started collecting just to collect, and I started learning collect stuff that you enjoy, that you love, that even if it goes down, you appreciate having. So, other than Micah Aku, I have Wisby. I also have I have one cube off of Pac. I just liked his mind and how he kept people thinking. I know, people are disappointed right now in regards to Pac, but I just love the mind challenge there. Um, who else? I had Greg Mike. Um, and King Saladin. King Saladin is an artist that I collected prior to NFTs. So when he came into the NFT space, I collected his art. Actually, he was at the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, kind of getting towards the end of this.
This hair is like bothering me here.
What's that?
I said this piece of hair is like making an introduction.
I haven't. I didn't even notice. So, usually towards the end of our little podcast here, we kind of go to something a little lighter. The problem is that with your profession, you've probably traveled to just about everywhere on your bucket list, being able to hop on and off. So, what I would like to know is, you've got one place to visit, like just for a weekend of eating, like you're going to eat your way through the country. Like, where's the place that you've been that you is the number one place? And then secondly, where do you want to go?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I actually enjoyed the food in Vietnam. I did. Also the people there, and the fact that you could just get something designed for you for like little cost. Like I actually had a jacket that I still have designed. They literally designed it on me, told me to come back later that day, to just try it on. So when I came back later that day, it was basically just like the inner part of it, and then the next day it was ready. I'm like, this is insane. Um, I would say the heart of people would be Cuba. I loved Cuba.
Yeah.
Like the people are so awesome. I remember us walking through the streets of Cuba, and they knew we were Americans. And one of them, I remember them saying, "We love you, and we know you love us, but it's just politics getting in the way."
Yeah.
And it's so true. And that's one thing I love about traveling is like one thing that we tend to do is just read stuff at face value.
Hmm.
And like even when I went to Vietnam and Cuba, I was told, why would you go there? Be careful. Like you have to be careful wherever you are.
Well,
Like
my extensive travels to like South America, like Mexico and Colombia, and certainly like Medellin, like the first time I went there, I was like, oh, and I'm like, Pablo has been gone for a long time. Um, I live in Los Angeles, like live in LA, New York, DC, like they're just as rough areas. You just don't go to those parts of the town, like uh to your point, yeah, 100%. I've got a friend that's going to Vietnam actually for Christmas, so he'll be happy to know that he gets a ringing glitch endorsement.
oh yeah, it's amazing. I forgot what hotel it is, but there's a club on top of the hotel that oversees the whole city. That's amazing. It's in Nha Trang. Not, am I saying that right? Yeah, I'll give you the information.
Was
Um,
was Cuba like going back in time? I've heard that, like the cars and everything, like they're kind of digressed a little bit.
it is, and let me tell you, those people are brilliant. Like, if you think about it, they don't get much imports of like parts and stuff.
Hmm.
So when a car breaks down, they use what they have to to get it running. I mean, over here it won't pass inspection, but like just to think like they think outside the box, it's amazing. But yeah, it is like going back in time.
Cuba's actually on my bucket list, and I've been doing a bunch of research. Is there any specialized like documents we need as Americans to get into Cuba?
I went prior to them closing it again. I'm not sure if it's
Mm,
open.
okay.
But actually we went prior to that, and we went through Mexico. And basically it was there if you were going for educational purposes or just, you know, tourist. But you had to have a reason, and one of the reasons is we were actually bringing like stuff for children out there. So we brought like, stuffed animals and stuff. But long story short, in regards to that, it was a bit disappointing because anything that's brought into the country, no matter what it is, even stuffed animals, toys, it has to go through the government. And one of we stayed at like it was like an Airbnb, but it wasn't Airbnb. They told us that once it goes through the government, it's rarely shared with the people. So that was disappointing to hear. So what we did was gave it to the person we were staying with and the neighbor because they had children as well. So at least it didn't go to waste.
Anything else on your end, Lovevox?
I'm a taller dude, and I find flying very, very difficult. How in the world do you stay on a flight for 8 hours a day, day after day, over and over again? How do you do that? Because I have so much respect for flight attendants because I find it impossible for me.
Well, we get to walk through the cabin, of course. But even when I'm traveling on leisure. Most recently, as you know, I went to Turkey, and that was a long flight. And for those of you that don't know, I fractured my tailbone back in September, so it's like I had to like sit on one side, then the other, and just get up. But I'm not as tall as you, so it's not that hard for me.
I've every time I meet like a young person, and they're confused, like they're not sure what they want to do, and especially now, I think it's interesting because college is so expensive, and the internet is, you can learn everything you need to know on the internet, except for like being like a heart surgeon. I don't need my doctor watching a YouTube video before he goes under the knife. But um, your job is the one that I tell people. It's like, every time I hear someone that says, "Oh, I love to travel," it's like, become a flight attendant or just simply work for an airline. It's a billion-dollar company. They have every type of job you can imagine. Like even a young guy doing baggage, you still get the benefits. Like uh, that's what I always recommend. And then of course, you know, supporting Gaku. So I now it's just like you just have to follow the glitch model. There you go. That's the way to have a successful life. You know.
Yeah, but yes, I agree. It's one of the best jobs to have, especially if you like to travel. But at the same time, you have to have, um, you have to like people, because one thing we're about is hospitality, and you gotta welcome in people like they're in your home. And some do get out of hand at times, but overall it's a good experience. But you definitely have to have that love for people. um the traveling, being able to travel part is just icing on the cake.
Have you ever experienced a crazy service animal? Because I've heard about like the peacock service animal. Like there was a great scene in one of the Jurassic Park movies where he's trying to get a velociraptor on the plane and he says it's his service animal. Yeah, like, and I've worked in the restaurant industry for a long time. Uh, they these like you can't even say anything because like they're trying to bring their dog in, and I'm like, this fat bulldog is not a service animal. Like he needs a still service animal. So have you ever had any kind of weird story like that on the plane?
Yeah, it's a touchy subject, but we used to have support animals and service animals. They took the support animals out for the airlines. But for service animals, you can never tell if a person really needs it. So I don't really look at that, but I do, and I tell everyone, keep your pets in the carrier. It's not us trying to be mean. I love dogs.
Mhm.
I love pets, but you never know how a pet is going to act. And a lot of people, you know, treat their pets as family because it is. But just like we have family that acts certain way with us,
Yeah,
they could act a certain way with somebody else. And there's been stories that I've heard that, oh no, they don't bite, and they end up biting. So you just have to be careful.
for sure. Lovox, you got anything else before we call it a morning?
I think that's all I have.
All right. Well, this has been another episode of To the Moon God Pod. I want to thank everybody that watches. Certainly hit that subscribe button, like, comment. We appreciate that. Would love to hear some of the questions that you'd like us to ask future guests. Sometimes it gets a little redundant, but then we have, someone like Glitch that adds different perspectives, whether it's from traveling, the background of being a mod, and certainly we always talk all things Aku and support arguably the greatest project there is, not just in the NFT, but in a movement for a better world. So again, appreciate all of you guys sticking with us to the end. Like, comment, subscribe, spread the word. For JwowLax, for Glitch, I'm JwowLax. We will see you next time.